songs, let me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc, where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
And that took over my life in a big way. Everything went around what was scouting at that time. I got involved with leadership positions, just going camping. I was just fascinated by that experience that impacted me. And I didn't know it was going to impact me professionally as well. Or that I can join personal recreation later as a professional. And that's how everything started for me.
Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, Leadership Series. In this episode, we sit down with Edwin J. Rivera, who brings a powerful journey from growing up in Puerto Rico to serving communities at the local, county, and federal levels, and now with the National Park Service. Along the way, he recognized a critical gap in our field, the need for a dedicated space to support and elevate Hispanic professionals in parks and recreation. That vision became Hispanic Professionals in Parks and Recreation, HPPR, a growing national community focused on mentorship, leadership development, and connection. In this conversation, Edwin shares how HPPR started, why representation matters, and what it takes to rise into leadership while staying rooted in service. Let's dive in.
All right, we are live here. This is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Fresh off the Louisiana convention, we had a great convention. That was their 80th anniversary. They did a great job. Hats off to Suzanne and the whole team over there, Louisiana Parks and Rec Association. But what I'd like to do is play a little thank you promo for getting us past the 300th episode, even though right now we're on 373 because we did all these conventions back to back. So we're coming up on our 400th episode for the year and got a lot of stuff planned, even to the end of this year, but next year is just got so much going on. But anyway, here's a thank you video that we made. And then I'll right on the back of that, if you are a vendor that works with the Parks and Rec community and would like to help us co-create and create this media company for Parks and Recreation, it'll tell you a little more information about that, but you can hit me up on LinkedIn if you're interested. And then we'll come back and start our conversation with Edwin.
"300 episodes. What started as a small idea, a way to share stories from the Parks and Recreation community, has grown into something truly special. From heartfelt conversations to behind-the-scenes stories that celebrate everyday heroes. Every episode, every message, every listen has been powered by you. To our loyal listeners, our partners, and every Parks and Rec professional who continues to inspire us, thank you. You've helped us grow, you've helped us evolve, and you've reminded us why we do this. Tell stories that matter. This milestone isn't just ours, it's yours too. As we celebrate our 300th episode, we look ahead to the next chapter. More stories, more community, more impact. From all of us here at DPRS Media Company, thank you for believing in us, for tuning in, and for helping us make it this far. Here's to the next 300 episodes and beyond. Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, Partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion Parks and Rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move Parks and Rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.
All right, Edwin, great to have you on the show today. I'd like you to kind of introduce a little bit just the organization that you're working with, and then we can kind of go into your backstory. But tell us a little bit about the Hispanic Professionals in Parks and Rec.
Well, thank you, Craig. First, thank you for the invitation. I'm excited to be part of this. So Hispanic Professionals in Parks and Recreation, it came as an idea of creating a space for Parks and Recreation professionals, specifically Hispanics, from that basically need a place to network, find about new opportunities, to help each other together to grow as professionals. And that's something from the beginning of my time in the profession that I noticed that we didn't have a specific space for it. And that's how the idea came. And right now, we have many things going on. We've been working together as a group with our board for about 3 years. Right now, we have different programs that we're developing. One of the to highlight is the mentoring program, which helps professionals at any level to match with mentors and mentees to help them grow in specific areas. And that program will start at the beginning of next year. We open the application. And then starting April all the way to the NRPA conference, which we do kind of like a closing, like an in-person closing. But different initiatives that we're working on. We also have a short podcast called Cafecito with HPPR, which is a short conversation of 30 minutes with professionals in the field, with topics related to Hispanics or other topics in the profession. So just to mention 2 initiatives, but yeah, you can learn more about it on our website at hppr.online. We have information there. You can learn about our board, our advisory board of professionals, and all the things that we're doing together.
Now, when did y'all get this idea? What kind of stirred up this idea in the early days?
Just like I mentioned, I started get involved with NRPA when I was a grad student at Springfield College in Massachusetts. I went to my first conference in 2006, and from there got involved as a student. And my experience in the field as well as the national level with NRPA, that's kind of like I noticed that there was a lot of Hispanic professionals, but we didn't get together, or necessarily we didn't have any space to talk about different topics related to Hispanics, which it's a keep growing population right now, as becoming a biggest minority in this country. So I was very concerned, particularly because we're not talking about topics related to, or people to feel comfortable to talk about it. And then from there, I started sharing that idea with my good friend Chris Nunes, who is a good mentor of mine from Texas, and everybody actually. Chris is a mentor for many people, and from there we start connecting with the Hispanic professionals, and we created a board, and from there together we'll be building up this organization, which now we working on becoming a 501c3 as a nonprofit.
Fantastic. Any idea of how many members y'all have so far, or how big is the founding team? Kind of how's it growing?
So we started basically as a Facebook group, and that's what we currently have. We have more than 500 members there. We are moving into the model of a membership, which is coming hopefully soon, as we grow in terms of the expenses for operations and things like that. So we want to move to a membership model, making sure that we offer things that are relevant to professionals through that membership. And from there to continue growing. That's our base as a membership. We'll see how it change when we do the paid membership, as well as an agency membership, which is another idea that we're working on. But yeah.
Yeah. And so that's mostly on your Facebook group, or is it a page or a Facebook group?
It's a group right now. We're working on either opening the page we have right now as we move into the membership model, so everybody can access it. Right now, we have specific questions we ask to people as to keep it, particularly for Hispanic professionals in the field.
Mhm.
But we're also working on either opening that or opening one for the public, because I have an interest not only to provide tools to Hispanics in the field, but also other professionals, to learn about how we develop programs, facilities, or different topics related to Hispanics in the field.
Mm. Now,
We're
are y'all
sorry.
planning on doing anything like on LinkedIn or a YouTube channel or Instagram, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, sorry if I interrupted you before. That's correct. We have a LinkedIn page right now that can be found by everybody. Anyone can find it. You can search HPPR or Hispanic Professionals in Parks and Recreation on
Mm.
LinkedIn, and we also been trying to post things related to the Facebook page or related to it for everybody into
Mm.
the LinkedIn as well.
Now, do y'all plan on doing any in-person meetups or maybe at least meeting at the NRPA convention or any of the state conventions?
Yes, we've been doing that from the beginning. We're, like I said, like about 3 years into, and so we started in Arizona at the NRPA conference. That was our
Mm.
first gathering that we had there. Very exciting at that time, and every time we get together. So we do offer in-person events at the NRPA conference, not only just a general gathering, but we've been doing socials. We have roundtables where we talk about different topics or what's next for the organization or what people need, because that's something that important for us. Like every year, we put a survey out to the members to see how things have changed. How we can offer more opportunities who are relevant for those specific
Mm.
times in the profession. So we've been trying to be purposely on creating things for our members.
And so, what are some of the topics that you find are specific to the Hispanic professionals that maybe we can highlight?
There's a lot of challenges for Hispanic professionals that we have found, particularly to go up in positions. Leadership positions it's a challenge. How to prepare professionally to get to the next level. That's
Mm.
one of the purposes of why we have the mentorship program. It was developed because of that purpose, so we can provide tools not from us only as Hispanic in the field, but also from other parks and recreation professionals. If for example, if people go to the Cafecito HPPR, we have different professionals there, like from Nile to Chris Nunes to Jesus Aguirre, which is the past chair from NRPA, which is one of our board members from the advisory
Mm.
board, APDs, like different to talk about different topics in general. So that's some of the things that we have found that people kind of like maybe are lacking some specific skills or tools for the next level. So we've been trying to put programs related to that topic.
Mm.
And people like to have a space to talk about things,
Mhm.
related to things that have affected them professionally. Things that I'm sure we will talk in this conversation about my career that I also experienced. But
Mhm.
people are very emotional about the space, and I'm very proud about that. People feeling they can find a space that they can talk about and feel comfortable.
Yeah. Now, is there anything aside from just the language barrier? Is it educational barrier? Or there's any other things that you find as the Hispanics try to, rise up in the ranks and leadership? That's kind of what are some of the obstacles that y'all see?
Um, it depends where they work at, depending on the department, depending on the state they live at, and the community they are. Challenges are different depending on those factors. And that's like for everybody, I guess. But we have found like I said, depending on the region and the place they live at, they have to deal with different challenges, particularly with policies that are not necessarily relevant to the
Mm.
Hispanic community. So they have to um, work on, kind of like a battle to change those policies who are relevant to that community, which we know we're supposed to do, but also it's an educational process for the citizens of that particular community or that particular state to embrace diversity, of course, and do things that are relevant to the specific diversity that they're working with.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can make y'all so qualified for the position they just can't tell you no. You're just too much talent, so many skill sets, very certified, and love to help the community, rise up in leadership as well. Because one of my first states I worked in was Texas, which is a huge Hispanic population there, and some of the best people I've ever worked with. So appreciate all the people in Texas. Okay, so let's dive a little into your personal story. Maybe go back to even when you were in high school and college. Who were you as a kid coming up, and what was your exposure to Parks and Rec in the early days?
Well, even go back. I think I was 10 years old when I joined the Boy Scouts at that time. Now it's scouting, of course.
What city, state were you in?
Well, I'm originally from Puerto Rico. And that was in Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, which is my hometown. And I joined through 276 at that time, which I still have friends from life, from that experience. And that took over my life in a big way. Everything went around what was scouting at that time. I got involved with leadership positions, just going camping. I was just fascinated by that experience and impact me. I didn't knew it was going to impact me professionally as well, or that I can join personal recreation later as a professional. And that's how everything started for me. And eventually, went to college, then make decisions, kind of like took me into personal recreation in a way.
Yeah. All right. So for those that have not been to Puerto Rico, can you try to describe the culture there? Because it's almost like it's almost like the 51st state in America. It's a territory, but maybe you can describe the culture living there and growing up there. What's that like?
I'm biased, of course. It is very vibrant. Of course, well, the weather is nice all year round for those who want to escape the winter time. It's easy flight, at least from where I am in the DC metro area, like 3 to 4 hours flight. Food is very good and sometimes unhealthy, but very tasteful. People are very nice and welcoming. It's in a small island compared to even to big states, of course. But there's a little bit of everything there, I would say. Even you can climb out the center of the island and be in a mountain. You can go to the beach in just a few, like an hour from where you are in the mountain. You can go to a hike by the water, and it's just different environments. And we have the only tropical forest for the Forest Service, U.S. Forest Service, is in Puerto Rico, in Fajardo, which is the Yunque, it's called. Amazing place to go and see. It's an experience.
Yeah, it really is beautiful. I actually almost moved there, but COVID kind of canceled my plans. We were going to go there for a month, and we were going to live on the West Coast, but the beaches there are phenomenal. And I think we discovered y'all have these like glow in the dark things that in the water that you can go swim with. I don't know if you've heard about those or done that before, but there's so many good things to do over there, and the culture is just amazing.
Yeah, that's a bioluminescent bay. We have 2 of those, and I'll be there. It's beautiful, particularly on a moon day when the moon is shining.
Yeah. All right. So then, what brought you to the States, or how old were you when you left Puerto Rico?
I was in 2006. I finished my degree in physical education, which was basically the only closer thing I was able to have access to in the college, as a college degree, to go into recreation in a way. And when I finished that degree, I want to go to grad school, and I was into camps, of course, because of the Scouts, summer camps, and I work in a few summer camps. I work with the Department of Parks and Recreation of Puerto Rico just giving talks about camping and that kind of stuff. So that got me more into kind of outdoor recreation. So I applied to grad school in Springfield College, Massachusetts, and other schools. Got into Springfield College, and that's basically how I ended up in Massachusetts, moving in the summer of 2006, just of course before the winter. So winters in New England are brutal, or at least for someone coming from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it's
But
definitely brutal. Coming from Puerto Rico, any winter is brutal.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Now,
how I moved there. And
what did you study in school?
so in Springfield College, I studied recreation management. I want to get more into outdoor recreation just because of my experience in the Boy Scouts. But at that time, the program changed, and it was better for me because it gave me more like a general perspective of the profession. And of course, eventually got me into this. It was like everything management wise, but for recreation. Springfield College, for those who doesn't know, that's where basketball was invented, and as well as volleyball. So you have a lot of culture related to sports, social services, recreation, small school, but very specific for that field. So it was a blessing to be part of that program.
And so that was what, a 4-year degree?
So now, after I finished my bachelor's degree in Puerto Rico, then I did a master's in Springfield College for 2 years. I finished that in 2009. Yeah.
Man, you went all the way. So you did 4 years and then immediately did 2 years after that. And so at this point, you're graduating with and what did you have your master's in? Also in Parks and Rec?
Yeah, just recreation management.
Yeah. All right. So now you're a fresh graduate with his master's degree in Parks and Rec. What's the next stage?
Well, actually, in the middle of the program, that's when I went. Well, at the beginning of the program, I went to NRPA, and I want to connect this story because it connects to that decision. As part of the program, I was required to do an internship. So I went to the conference. The department offered me to get me there as long as I helped them with the booth that we have at the NRPA with one of my professors. And I went to Springfield College Social, and I met there Michael McCarty, which is the actual executive director of Glenview Park District up there in Illinois. And after the conference, we connected, and I interviewed for an internship. And that's how I got my experience in the city of Fairfax in Virginia. And eventually, after finishing my master's, then he offered me a full-time job. And that's how I got into Parks and Recreation, pure Parks and Recreation.
Wow. And what city and state was that for your first
It was
job?
in the city of Fairfax in Virginia.
Oh, wow. That's a big one. That's a pretty large department, isn't it?
Well, actually, the city is not that big, but it's into the Fairfax County, which is a bigger jurisdiction, but it's inside Fairfax County, so which is not too far from where I am right now, too.
Yeah. Okay. So what was your first few years like? What did they put you in charge of upon graduation?
Man, well, first, I was just like a support staff at the beginning, but eventually, when I started officially in the job, I was doing special events, just an assistant special event manager. Got to experience all the things that the city offer, working with partners, to put together events, the 4th of July parade and firework display in the city of Fairfax is so big, and it attract not only the citizens but the people from the county. So we manage that. Holiday shows, Christmas. It's like amazing big events that we have to put together for the community, and that was so much fun. Very dynamic job. Yeah, it was amazing, and I love it. I love that experience, and the people were tremendous.
Yeah, and unfortunately, people that are outside of Parks and Rec don't realize how large special events is for Parks and Recreation. It's a big lift, not just for the people that run the special events, but also for the maintenance teams that are setting up day of tear downs. A friend of mine, Brian Dixon, says Fridays, the weekends, and Mondays are all for special events for his maintenance teams. They're constantly setting up for those. All right. So when you graduated, you've got a master's, you're in special events, and you know how a lot of times they say the education doesn't really begin until you start that first job and you realize all these other skills that you need to acquire. What were some of those early skills when you were just fresh out of graduation that you had to kind of shore up and get better at?
Something I'm always grateful for my friend Michael McCarty, who was at that time the director of the department. He exposed me to the real Parks and Recreation, and he put me in front of the city council to present, things that I have done before as a graduate student, presenting in front of professors, things like that. When you're in a city and you have to be in front of the city mayor and the city council, things like that, that experience, it was unique. Have to put together things that are relevant to the city. And I was so fascinated of how we develop things that are important for the specific citizens of the city. Because at some point I moved to become the summer camp director for all the camps in the city. And the impact, I learned so much about the impact of the programs we put together for the kids, for example, and also for special events in general. But the long-term impact that we provide to kids in terms of positive experiences is unmeasurable. And I didn't see it that before, when you were in a classroom, and when I was in Massachusetts, learning about it, until you're in the field and you see the real impact of what we do, you don't understand. And that happened with some people. So many people don't understand the importance of what is recreation to communities. And I was on board 100%, particularly learning about those things that people can take advantage in the long term because of those experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to see that in school versus seeing it real time, the impact that you're having on your communities. What kind of early impact, similar to how you said with the children, did you see impact you were having on the community?
Fairfax, the city of Fairfax or the county, is a very diverse community, with different representations of different groups. And when I was there, I speak Spanish, and I was able to connect with a lot of different Hispanic groups. And something that I was very curious, or I have experience, was that there was a lot of challenges in terms of developing policies relevant to certain diversity groups, particularly for Hispanics at that time. For example, we have a big participation of them trying to play soccer or use the soccer fields in the county. So we have someone who managed the city sports fields, but I kind of became the connection between those Hispanic people who want to play the field and the county, because the policies of the county were not specifically developed to receive a full team of players to play the game. And the Hispanic community, they want to play full matches there, but they were not allowed because of the number of people allowed in the fields, which is something simple. But I was like, that connection to make sure that, they develop those policies, change them, so then they have participation of Hispanics in the right way to use the fields, just to give you an example of that. And just many more from there, because it's not about translating things, it's about understanding of the culture to be able to develop. And yeah, I'm very happy that I was able to help on that matter. And not only with Hispanic, there's a big Asian population in Fairfax. I work with different partners to also do flyers relevant to the community in their language and things of that nature.
Mm. Now, what did you do after? How long did you stay inside of special events?
Maybe for about a year or so, and after that, we got a big donation for a new community center, and from there we created new roles. And my role at that time changed to become the community programs coordinator / summer camp director in a way. But yeah, I was in charge of. We have 5 different camps around the city in the different city schools, from ages 3 to 15. Man, I had like 500 kids, 200 staff members, and a lot of programming going on. And that was an amazing experience. But yeah, that's how it evolved into that role, because I had the experience with the Boy Scouts and I really liked summer camps. So I moved to that role.
So at this point, any programming in the city of Fairfax, now you were in charge of all. Now did that range from like summer camps to like senior care, or what was the range, or was it all programming?
So my role, in addition to the summer camps, was basically everything that it was outside of the community center. So we have programs at the parks, like, some like fitness classes or, running groups, things of that nature. We do have the city has a senior center, which they manage the senior programs, but everything else that was outside of the community center, I manage in my position.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take a short break. We're kind of at the halfway point. I'm going to play a promotion for one of we have 2 interns that are working with us, Michael and Aiden, and they have moved our Young Professionals Network show to Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, because according to them, that's a better time for the demographic of college kids, because it's after class and stuff. So this is going to be the last time we play this promotion, because they just finished creating a new promotion for the Thursday YPN show. So we'll play that, and then immediately following, we're going to promote our Thursday show, which is all about youth sports. My host, Aaron Locks, does a fantastic job of getting some of the best coaches and athletic directors across the country to come and talk all things youth sports. So we'll play those 2 promos. And by the way, if please, I'm asking everyone, do me a favor, go into our YouTube channel and subscribe, because we want to get our account above 1,000 so that we can also go live on YouTube. I know a lot of people find us on our Facebook page and our LinkedIn page, but the content library is on YouTube. And so any of the stuff that we're making right now with Edwin and a lot of the other commercials we make for the industry are to be found on YouTube. So anyway, we'll play these 2, and then we'll come right back and finish our conversation with Edwin.
Are you ready to lead the next generation of Parks and Rec? Whether you're a student, intern, or rising leader, welcome to the Young Professionals Network by DPRS Media Co. Our mission? To empower early career professionals in parks and recreation through mentorship, visibility, and real-world leadership development. Our vision? A national network of passionate, prepared, and purpose-driven leaders who shape the future of public service. Starting now. Powered by the Daily Parks and Rec Show, YPN gives you access to exclusive interviews, career-building resources, behind-the-scenes content, and live events, all created by and for the next wave of Parks and Rec professionals. Learn from seasoned directors, build your brand, get involved with national conversations that matter. Whether you're in youth sports, facilities, programming, or policy, YPN is your launchpad. Young Professionals Network, your career, your community, your story.
At DPRS Media Co. At DPRS Media Co. We don't just create content, we elevate community through storytelling. Now, we're proud to introduce the newest addition to the family. Welcome to Youth Sports Mastery, the podcast where champions are shaped, not just on the field, but in life. Hosted by National Academy of Athletics founder Aaron Locks. Youth Sports Mastery dives deep into how youth sports can empower kids, strengthen communities, and build leaders. From coaching culture to recreation strategy, and from player development to parent impact, every episode brings game-ready insight from the people making it happen. Youth Sports Mastery goes live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, sponsored by National Academy of Athletics and powered by DPRS Media Co. This is where purpose meets play.
All right, so we'll pick up where we left off. You were telling us how you're now in charge of the community or the programming outside the community center. How long were you in that position?
For about 2 to 3 years, until 2013.
Now, did you have to learn how to, what were some of the skills you had to kind of shore up to become better at programming?
Well, I got involved with the American Camp Association. And one of the things that, they have the accreditation for summer camps. So actually, one of the things that I was able to accomplish was to be the first municipality in Northern Virginia to, be able to go through the accreditation process for American Camp. And there's a lot of operational skills that you learn from that process. So I was able to implement a lot of those things in terms of how to run the camp more effectively, more safe, and manage the staff members. There's so many aspects of the operation of summer camp, of course. But I got involved in, because something that I have tried to do in my career is to get involved with a specific organizational groups who are relevant to the position I'm at. And that was a good example of it. Go to the circle of the camps, talk to people, share ideas, learn new programs, and there's people. The good thing about Parks and Recreation and summer camp people, everybody share with everybody. Honestly, like you ask someone, and they will be glad to send you an example of the program they have done or the ideas they have done before. So I think that's one of the best things about this profession.
Yeah. And then now, are you still at Fairfax, or have you kind of moved on to other places?
I move on. The commute was bad. I was always living in Maryland and commuting to Fairfax. Crossing that bridge. It was a challenge back and forward. So then moved to work in an agency in Maryland with the Maryland Park and Planning Commission.
Now, did you have any other positions while you were in Fairfax before you left?
No. In 2013, when I left the city, then I moved directly into Maryland to work here.
And so tell us about that transition. Was it the commute that motivated it, or somebody found you and offered you another position?
I mean, I started meeting people from the region. People got to get to know me. They kind of like asked me like, "Oh, you live in Maryland. Why you work in Virginia?" But it was in a way, but it was tough because the group of professionals we have in the department were so close, and we collaborate together in so many ways. From the director to special events, to people who I have to respond to in terms of leadership. And it was a lovely community. So it was a tough transition, to be honest. When you found the right people to work with, that transition is difficult. But I knew that eventually I had to, particularly when you want to grow. This is a small department, a 25,000 people city. So, the opportunities to grow are limited. So you maybe that's when I decided to move to a bigger agency to find other opportunities.
And so what was the new position that they offered you?
So I started working.
What part of Maryland?
So PPC, Maryland Park and Planning Commission. It's a bi-county agency. So we have Montgomery County and Prince George County. So I started working in the Prince George County side, which is Parks and Recreation, as Montgomery County is only recreation. Parks. The recreation part is run by the county, just to give you some perspective. But yeah, Prince George County, that's like Upper Marlboro. But I was a community center manager or director in the Palmer Park community, very close to the Redskins Stadium at that time. It's not the Redskins anymore, but it's stadium is still there, so it's a community very close to the stadium. That's where Sugar Ray Leonard, the boxer, grew up, and in the community center I operate as a manager is the one he basically trained to become a boxer in the long term and professional.
Yeah. And so, tell us about your. So you've been, and that's where you still are now.
No, I moved after a few years too.
Okay, so let's maybe cover that time you were there. What years were you there from?
I from 2014 all the way to oh man, for about 3 to 4 years, I was part of that. And then I had different roles. I have to make that correction. I also worked with the public affairs division for the commission too, and so I had as a director also working in community outreach, which is amazing experience because the agency have this specific group to create outreach opportunities to go to different events to outreach specific communities because of the diversity, the representation in the county. So that was a great experience, to develop things in Spanish, social media posts, public events, public meetings. So I was able to use my background, to be able to be helpful on that matter. So I have director, also public affairs, and with the agency.
So anything tricky about managing political affairs?
Sorry, public affairs. My bad. Public affairs.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I can speak fast sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, something that I have learned is about the campaigns you can develop to target particular communities or diversity groups, and that's kind of like when I kind of like start thinking about HPPR or something similar, because I saw the challenges of those communication. And I'm not talking about only language, like I mentioned before. It's just like understand the community and how to approach them. How to create programs for relevant. Because at the time I was the director of the community center, there was people used to come to visit, and it's like I never knew there was a community center here, or what you guys do, and that happened particularly with diversity groups are not used to the government structure that we have here. You're coming from another country, so it takes time for you to understand how the government services work, as well as parks and recreation. So I found there was a lot of challenges to get people to go into the community center, to make them feel welcome, or to make them understand what we do. Things basics as like a summer camp. If you don't have that in your country of origin, you don't know what is the purpose of it or what the benefits of it. So I learned a lot from those experiences, particularly in public affairs, on how to develop things or how to get the message out the right way for the specific communities.
Okay. All right. So then yet another transition. So this is on your third city. And is this where you're at right now, or is there a fourth one?
No. So after that, we have to watch the clock because I have many more. So after that, I want to do my own summer camp. I have the passion from the Boy Scouts, like I mentioned before, and I came across an opportunity to be part of a franchise, and I was able to acquire a franchise. It's still called High Five Sports. And I got the region of Washington D.C. and left the agency, and I started developing summer camps as a contractor from the city of Fairfax, which I knew very well, Falls Church City, and other jurisdictions in the region, but from the private contractor point of view and from the private sector, but offering for government entities. And that was right on the pandemic, which was also a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah. And so y'all would basically go into a city and offer to run their summer camp for them. Is that how that works?
Well, with High Five, there's very specialized sports camps. So, the city normally runs just general summer camps with variety of different activities. We offer a specific sports summer camps, which is attractive for cities that want to have a diverse amount of offerings.
And how long did you do that for?
So the contract as a franchise was for 5 years. And after the 5 years, like I said, it happens in a way in the pandemic. So I wasn't able to finish those 5 years successfully, as many other things that got affected, and then decided to move on to other things.
Yeah. And how was your experience working on the private side?
It was interesting because for many of us, or many people who work in parks and recreation or government, you only have that perspective. And from the contractor perspective, it's so much different. I had to put the summer camps, of course, from nothing. I had to contract all the staff members. I had to purchase the equipment. I have to present the offerings as a contractor to the cities and convince people that I'm capable of offering a good product as a program. So it was challenging, but I learned a lot from it. I got a lot of opportunities, make a lot of connections. And I think it's important to understand the contractor point of view in parks and recreation. So you don't know that unless you experience it, and it's definitely different, totally different, because you're responsible for everything. Insurance. The only thing that the city offered me was basically the marketing of the programs and the facilities. Everything else I had to put it together myself. So great experience, and challenging too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, all right. So now you're done with your private sector, or unless you're planning on going back to the private sector at all?
We'll see. Who knows? Well, after that, we were into the pandemic. A lot of things happening online, and I always want to, I don't know, kind of do a PhD, a doctorate program in parks and recreation, and the opportunity came. I applied for it at Clemson University. It's kind of online hybrid program that we have to go to the university for a week, but most of the courses are online, live online. So we have a cohort at the university and also online. But anyway, that was the next step: PhD / other things.
Yeah. All right. So, and did you finish your PhD, and was that like a 2-year program online, or you had to go to class, or what?
No, it's a 4-year program. I haven't finished it yet. I'm working on trying to finish hopefully by next year or 2027, but hopefully not next year. I'm done with all the courses. All the courses pretty much online, and some in person. There, we used to go to the university as well. So now into the research phase in youth development, particularly with summer camps, which is my research area. I'm trying to finish, but also I have a full-time job, which we can transition soon to tell you what it is now.
Yeah. Well, do you recommend anyone go and get their PhD in Parks and Recreation? What's your experience like so far?
Well, I'm always pushing people to go to grad school for sure. And for those, Katie Mack from the city of Fairfax, a good friend, I'm always like, you gotta do a PhD, and she's involved in a young professional network. But anyway, she's gonna laugh about this. But everybody I met, I try to push, because it challenges you, and even if you don't want to do a research career or go to academia, just the process of going through the classes, the writing process, the research process, you learn so much from that you can apply into the field. What I understand is challenging for many reasons. Economically, you don't have the means to pay for it, or don't have a scholarship, the time that you have to dedicate to it, I used to study or do my work between hours from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. and then go to work the next day. It
Oh,
is
wow.
challenging. Yeah, but I can't complain from the experience. Between the professors, the network, my cohort of friends that we are now, I do recommend it. And there's so many opportunities online now. Mine in Clemson University. I'm biased, but go Tigers. So
Ah,
yeah.
all right. So now you have this full-time job that you have right now, and this is where you are right currently.
Yes. I'm with the federal government, with the National Park Service, working in the Maryland region and DC area.
And now I have on this that you kind of moved up to a city manager. Is that is that what you're doing now, or did you ever move up to city manager? Or have you ever done that before?
Oh,
Maybe I typed it
no,
wrong.
not yet. No, but maybe that should be the next step.
It seems like parks and rec professionals, especially directors, are always getting recruited by the city to do city management because they're able to juggle so many balls and handle whatever's thrown at them. So that it's usually a good training ground for future city managers.
Definitely,
Uh,
I agree with that.
all right, so tell us about your day to day in your current position.
This is very interesting because after having experience in city, then county, nonprofit, um, oh, I forgot about that one. But anyway, you know, it's different with the federal government.
Mhm.
And being exposed to different levels of government, it gives you some more perspective of the management process because of course, it's been different. Federal government, particularly with the National Park Service, it's so big. It's so much land management, so much education. Every national park is different and it's specific. It's been an amazing experience, and also wearing the uniform is cool.
Mhm.
After years of me wearing my uniform as a Boy Scout, it was very impactful for me to be able to wear the uniform. Something that many people don't know, that not only park rangers wear the uniform in the National Park Service, but pretty much everybody from
Mhm.
every level have to wear the same uniform. I would say only the IT people are the ones who doesn't wear the uniform, but everybody else in the
Yeah.
park service, yes, interesting enough. But yeah, and I love it. I love it, particularly because of the service we provide to the visitors in the different parks, and the local service we provide. Something that you don't see or think about it necessarily when you think about the National Park Service and the national parks. The impact in the local communities, it's vital, and the local partnerships you have to create to bring people, offer things that are relevant to the community, provide interpretation of the historical facts of that particular community and how that particular national park had impact that community. It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah. All right. So how long have you been active in NRPA?
Hmm. 2006 when I started grad school in Massachusetts.
Yeah. I wanted to give you a little chance to just speak about your experience to NRPA and how that's helped you over the years and the connections and, what's it been like from the beginning, and then have you had any other roles in NRPA during your time as a professional?
NRPA, the NRPA experience has been what have drive me in this profession. I have to say, other than my Boy Scout experience. But when I moved from Puerto Rico to Massachusetts, I was totally lost in a way. It's so big, so many new things coming, and I asked my professor what I have to do to get to know this profession here in the States, because I only have 2 years in the master's degree to do something. Went to the conference that 2006, and even though I did not speak the best English, or I still have challenges with the language, I got involved in a leadership position. I don't know how I got it. Maybe people
Ah,
liked me at that time, and I was the New England representative from the student branch at that time. That was my first role at NRPA, and from there developed two different roles, and eventually I will say HPPR was developed from that experience and the network that I made during those years, as well as my first experience is working with the city of Fairfax. That's how I met Mike, and eventually gave me an opportunity as an intern, and then the job, and then keep growing this network that offered me other opportunities professionally. Because every time I go to a conference, I meet someone new. I'm making new connections with potential to be the next role or collaborate in different ways.
Yeah. And so how many annual conventions have you attended, or have you attended every one since then?
I wish not every conference. I will say from 2006 to now, and maybe I skipped 3 or 4 for whatever reasons in the different years. But and I miss some of the great cities. I missed Vegas, I miss San Antonio, but just a few only. But I always try to go no matter what.
Now, were there any standouts over the years as to which one you like the most? Or, in your memory?
Let's see. In Indianapolis, 2007, it was very impactful for me. It was kind of like my second one, and I feel more comfortable speaking with people. My network grew a little bit more. So because the first one, I was like totally lost. I didn't know anybody. If you go the first time to a national conference, like you totally don't know what's going on. So yeah, I love in Indy, and when we went back 10 years after I went for the rotation, I was so excited to go back to Indianapolis. And anyway, but in the last 3 years, I would say those will be my favorite because we have HPPR, and having those in-person meetings with Hispanic professionals to do roundtables and talk to people about things that are needed as professionals and how we can help. It's been the most amazing experience, specifically working with the board that we have, because we are very close group of friends now. Even though we see each other during the year online, then we get together. Getting together as a board in person, and getting everybody in socials and see how emotional people get about what we're trying to do. It's one of my favorite things. I'm so happy about it.
Okay, so we have a little tradition on our show coming towards the end here. And I'm going to play this promo. It's actually not a promo. It's a commercial we made for the industry of Parks and Recreation for young people as why they should choose Parks and Recreation as a career path. So I'd like to get your feedback on that. But the question is left to you by Jonathan Winters over in Richardson, Texas, which is kind of like the Dallas metro area. But his question to you is, what advice would you give to a young professional entering the Parks and Rec industry? And you can give your answer when we come back. And then I'll need you to think of a question that you would like to leave our next guest, our next victim, rather. But I'll play this promo. And by the way, you can find this promo. We don't copyright it. You can use it for free. Our intention was this promotion for the industry would be played in maybe the orientation process of summer camp workers that really don't know what they want to do with their life. Maybe you can plant a seed and find our next great Parks and Rec professional. And then you can stand up and give your personal testimony. So I'll play this and then we'll come back and finish up with Edwin.
Every career is a choice, but few careers let you touch lives. Not once in a while, but every single day. Step into a park on a Saturday morning. You'll hear children laughing on the soccer field, families gathering for a picnic, seniors walking the trails, finding health and friendship. And behind every smile, every memory, is a Parks and Rec professional. We don't just mow fields, we grow confidence in young athletes. We don't just build playgrounds, we create safe spaces where childhood thrives. We don't just plan events, we design moments that anchor generations. Think of the coach who teaches patience, the director who champions equity, the staff member who sees potential in a child no one else believed in. Every day, Parks and Rec professionals shape character, preserve beauty, and strengthen community. And the path isn't easy. Budgets are tight, resources stretched thin, but the reward, unmatched. Because what you give comes back in legacy, in healthier communities, in lives forever changed. So why dedicate your life to Parks and Recreation? Because here, your work never ends. It lives on, in laughter echoing across playgrounds, in green spaces preserved for the next century, in the young professionals rising to lead tomorrow. This is not just a career, it's a calling, it's a legacy, it's Parks and Recreation. A message from the Parks and Rec community.
All right. So imagine you're sitting in front of a classroom, high school or college kids. They don't know what they want to do with their life. What's your testimony or sales pitch, rather, to the industry of Parks and Recreation?
But is this particular to young professionals or in general?
I guess in general, because when you're sitting in as a high school or college kid, you're like, maybe I want to be a nurse, maybe I want to be, but they're really just kind of, closing their eyes and throwing a dart. So maybe you can give them a little more insight as to why they should choose this as a maybe permanent career path.
Oh my God, it's so much. I mean, this profession it offers so much, and it's many people don't see the perspective from as a citizen of the impact. If you want to change lives, you want to shape people's lives, you want to shape what the future looks like for the youth. This is the career to be. And that's something that we have learned with different research in youth development. For the opportunities we offer, for example, in summer camps, it impacts the participants in the long run. From choosing a career path, providing opportunities like science camp, for example, things that kids are not exposed necessarily every day, and they get to explore new things that might help them to choose what they want to do in the future. Just an example, and even in special events, because they create community, you can create connections. There's so many opportunities that the field offering open space for enjoying nature. In the public park or a national park, where we are right now. Yeah, it's a meaning. It's a profession of meaning that something that when you finish as a professional, you feel satisfied that you did something good for the community and your nationwide.
All right, so back to that question: what advice would you give? Which you may have just answered that question, but any advice you would give to a young professional coming into the industry? Let's say it's your first 1 to 5 year and you're kind of, trying to drink water from a fire hose. What advice would you give to a young professional?
They need to get involved. It's from the beginning. You have to get involved in committees if you can. Ask professionals how you can get involved, what opportunities there are there. You have to be uncomfortable, in a way, go to things that you don't feel, stand up in front of people to talk in public, like things that many people are necessarily exposed to. And it happens to me the first time I went to NRPA. I had to stand there in front of people with my bad pronunciation of many things at that time, or my bad English, I would call it, and talk to people who their primary language is English, something that made me feel very uncomfortable. But that helped me to thrive in the long term, and then be involved in a committee at that time as a student in the student branch. It opens me the possibilities of the field, and eventually create that network. It's the only way you're going to meet people who are relevant for you professionally. You have to get involved.
Yeah, it's great advice. All right, so before we wrap up, if you had to start a weekly show for the Hispanic Professionals Parks and Rec, what are some of the names that kind of just first come to your mind? Like, is it Hispanic Professionals Park and Rec Show? That's kind of very generic, but any ideas?
You mean in terms of the people to get involved?
Well, I'm trying. I encourage y'all to maybe start a weekly or a monthly show where people can meet the Hispanic community that work inside of Parks and Rec. And I'm working right now with MWR, which is basically the military in Parks and Rec, and we're going back and forth on a show name. So it's just kind of like top of mind. I think what we're going to go with is On the Front Line, Military Parks and Rec, or On Duty. So we're kind of going back and forth with different names because we're trying to create the logo right now. But I'm curious as to what y'all might name the show if y'all ever did. By the way, I would love to help y'all start a weekly show to get the message out more.
That'd be great. Sure. Well, a word in Spanish come to mind, juntos, which means together. That's the first thing that it came to mind because you're creating something for people to get together. And, yeah.
How do you say Parks and Recreation in Spanish?
Parques y recreación.
Yes, I can see it happening already.
Well, sure. Let's talk about it. Let's see.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Well, Edwin, thank you so much for coming on the show today, sharing your story and your journey. And if there's anything we can do here at the Daily Parks and Rec Show to help get the message out, I'd love to have y'all back on the show, maybe with the founding team, other people that are helping you to kind of launch this. We want to kind of do our part. Just think of us as a big megaphone pointed to the entire industry of parks and recreation. What would be the message you would want to send to them? And start that online conversation so that people can learn more about what y'all are doing. So really, thank you for coming on the show today.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me.
That's it. Well, happy Monday and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye. All right. So that was Edwin. He has had a very colorful journey and is now pursuing his PhD all the way from Puerto Rico. Shout out to all my people in Puerto Rico. Y'all missed me moving there. I guess it just wasn't meant to be. For those of you who don't know, I now full-time moved to New Orleans. I am still mostly in boxes. Don't even have my books up yet. I kind of set this up as my studio, but really appreciate a guy named Mark who helped me move in. And then he brought a very talented, actually, musician that helped me move in, Justin. No. Hold on, I don't want to mispronounce his name. Because he may actually help create a Clifton Nicholson. So y'all go look up Clifton Nicholson. He's one of the very talented musicians here in Louisiana, and Brian as well. So I really appreciate y'all. I could not have done it without y'all. I was literally driving from Baton Rouge yesterday in a U-Haul with everything I own. So that's been chaos, and that was right on the heels of the NRPA convention. Okay, so we've got some exciting news. In addition to our two interns starting to host the Young Professionals Network show now on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, we are launching the 16th of December. We're doing a soft launch for MWR, which is the military. For those who don't know, every military base has essentially a Parks and Rec department embedded within it. For our soldiers overseas or local bases here in the States. And with the help of John Prue, he will be, let me make sure. Yeah. John Prue will be helping us launch that, and he will be the host. And that's going to be every Tuesday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be a weekly show. So I'm really excited because the military bases, the Parks and Rec departments on those are a little bit different. But there's over 300 military bases globally. And so imagine 300 Parks and Rec departments embedded within the military bases for our soldiers that are deployed or here in the States. So I'm really excited about that. So that's two shows that we're launching. Plus we're launching with the help of Outdoor Link, a smart cities show, smart cities show about how these Parks and Rec departments are becoming so interconnected and able to do so much. They're becoming really smart cities, and they're so much more efficient at able to run a city. And they're one of the companies that, number one, they're a very big sponsor of the show. So really appreciate that. Couldn't do all that we're doing without them. But then also they just have a great educational piece on how Parks and Rec departments can basically control just about the entire city from a cell phone or from a laptop. It's a great team. So really appreciate them supporting us and then helping us to create yet another show. So we have 3 shows that will be rolling out within the next 30 to 60 days. Be looking for those. And then one of my interns, Michael, is also big into field maintenance. And we're also working with the Field Maintenance Association. So we're really going to start putting a lot more energy into the facilities maintenance show coming up here soon. So hope everybody has a great week and looking forward to a great Thanksgiving this Thursday. We will be taking Thursday off. I may stop in just to say hello and wish everybody happy Thanksgiving, but our regular shows will just be kind of on pause. And now I say that, my host, Aaron Locks, usually like me, does not take a day off. So most likely we will still have the U Sports Mastery show, and I'm probably going to come on before that and just say hello and wish everyone happy Thanksgiving. All right, so heading out, I'm going to play the facilities maintenance promo commercial, and then we'll end it with how you can get involved if you are a vendor and would like to help us also co-create and launch this media platform for the Parks and Rec industry. So I appreciate all the love and support that we've got. Again, big shout out to Louisiana. They just killed it. They did. It was just, everything was booked. It was, I guess it's one of those things where you build something and you're afraid, well, what if nobody shows up? But on the other side, what if everybody shows up? What if more people than we can handle show up? And that's kind of what happened with NRPA, but they handled it with such grace and had a lot of good speakers there as well. So great job to that team. All right, this is Craig LeBlanc signing off, officially from New Orleans now, full-time. Now I don't have to drive back and forth, trying to live in 2 cities. But appreciate all the love and support we've gotten over this year. This has been a great year for us. Coming up very quickly on our 400th episode, only another 27 shows to go. So we'll probably hit 400 before the end of the year, and crossed our 2,000 barrier on LinkedIn. And Aiden, one of our interns, wants to help us launch our Instagram because we've got a lot of people, especially the young people, are on Instagram as well. So a lot of stuff in the works. Looking forward to a great end of the year and to launching the 2026 year. Ought to be a blast. All right, so we will see y'all here again tomorrow, also 12 noon Eastern, for the leadership series in Parks and Recreation. Y'all have a great day, guys. Love you. Bye.
Behind every thriving park, every safe playground, every event-ready field, there's a team working before sunrise and long after sunset. This is Facility Maintenance, the only show created for and by the unsung heroes of Parks and Recreation. Brought to you by DPRS Media Co., where real work gets real recognition. From restrooms to rec centers, HVAC to turf tech, we go beyond the job site into the heart of operations that keep our communities moving. Our mission? To elevate maintenance teams through stories, solutions, and shared experience. Our vision? A world where every facility crew is seen, valued, and fully supported. Each episode features operators, innovators, and leaders, sharing tools, tech, and tactics that make the impossible look easy. Facility maintenance isn't just a job. It's purpose, it's passion, and now it's a show. Facility Maintenance, where tools meet purpose, where work becomes legacy. Are you ready to lead the next generation of Parks and Rec? Whether you're a student, intern, or rising leader, welcome to the Young Professionals Network by DPRS Media Co. Our mission? To empower early career professionals in parks and recreation through mentorship, visibility, and real-world leadership development. Our vision? A national network of passionate, prepared, and purpose-driven leaders who shape the future of public service. Starting now. Powered by the Daily Parks and Rec Show, YPN gives you access to exclusive interviews, career-building resources, behind-the-scenes content, and live events, all created by and for the next wave of Parks and Rec professionals. Learn from seasoned directors, build your brand, get involved with national conversations that matter. Whether you're in youth sports, facilities, programming, or policy, YPN is your launchpad. Young Professionals Network, your career, your community, your story.